What is up?
Glad to be back on another episode of the Mortgage Mike Speaks podcast.
Yes.
My name is Steven Salinas, loan officer with the Mortgage Mike Group.
And I'm the Mortgage Mike and Mortgage Mike.
Yeah. We got a special guest with us today. Mike, do you want to introduce him?
Yeah, we got Chase Smith here with us.
What's going on, guys?
Yeah, with good label, right? I got the right. Good label Realty. Is that right? Realty or real estate?
Real estate.
Realty. Doesn't matter. Okay, it's all good. All right. I knew the good label part.
Yeah,
I was
that's
like,
the main part. That's
what do we add to the part of this? So, hey, real quick, this is what do we do on this podcast, Stephen? We probably should just let everybody know that, right?
Yeah. So what we do on this podcast, we share the stories and we highlight agent partners that we work with that we want to really get there. We want to get them out to you guys just so you can connect
and
with
their
them.
story.
Get their story out there. You know, there's something that we can take from every podcast that we do.
Yeah.
I think Chase has a lot of great things to give.
Well, yeah. And Chase and I have known each other now for a couple of years and we've worked together.
Years.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you something, Chase. I love your enthusiasm you bring to the real estate industry. And your creativity as well. You're super creative in what you're doing. And I really appreciate the branding that you guys have around Good Label and what you're doing there too. So we'll dive into that with Chase here in a little bit. But I just give you big props, man. I love what you started. Yeah.
So we can kind of go into your background
for
real estate, where you're at now and where you're going. We like to talk about those things.
What you do before you got into this crazy industry?
Before I got into this, I was in oil and gas. I was like selling cars in high school for like extra cash, which is really good money for a high school kid to go to auction.
Hey, hang on. You were selling cars in high school for extra cash. What?
That's awesome. I go to auctions with my mechanic and he'd get me in as a son. So because you have to be like with family.
Yeah.
So he would, obviously it's an incentive for him because you get to fix the cars whenever I bought them. So I started doing that as like a teenager. And then from there, found another car at Home Depot Park that was for sale and ended up calling the owner. And I was looking for one of the gas job at a high school. I think I was like 19 or something. Yeah. And then the guy ended up I met him at his house to buy the car and he ended up offering me a job. And then so I ended up working offshore for like 2 or 3 years or something along those lines. And then that kind of went into.
Wait, I got it back. I'm still putting my brain around the fact that in high school you had this idea that you would basically flip cars.
Yeah, I was flipping cars on Craigslist.
Yeah.
Wow.
Gosh, man, that takes I can tell you this. I was not thinking about doing that in high school, man. At all.
I like to work and I liked money a lot too. So that was just a vehicle to get both. So
so you were able to combine it.
Yeah.
And you're a big car guy.
Yeah. I love old school cars the most. I like new cars too, but old school cars more my speed. I like it. It's more of a timeless experience, as they say. Yeah. So it's really good. I love it. They're really fun to drive. And you have to wear seatbelts, which is not the most safest thing, but it makes you feel like you're just a badass.
Yeah. Well, let me see. Chase dresses very well. So man, when you're in because you've got the convertible.
Yeah, the convertibles are always
right.
Yeah.
So if you look at the Good Label website, there's a video of you driving with a beautiful young lady in the car with you. It's perfect. It's so Chase when I saw that.
It's got the shades on, suit on. It's like 50s. Modern
50s,
old contemporary, I guess.
Yeah,
but awesome.
Mid-century modern. Now. Yeah, right now. No, it's awesome, dude. I love that.
It was really cool. It was really unique. It was really fun and really hot. And then it started raining on me when I got home. So that's the one thing. It doesn't have a top. So like once you're in it, you're committed. So you're just driving on the street.
Wow. I never know in Houston.
Yeah, you don't. Especially in our weather.
Cold and then hot.
Yeah. So okay. So you sell a car to a guy and he says, hey.
Yeah, he's like, you're a go-getter, I can tell.
So let me give you a job.
Yeah.
And you're making crazy money offshore at that age. I mean, that's probably more than you could.
I was making like close to 6 figures almost.
Yeah.
As a 19-year-old just by working offshore. But I was also the youngest kid out there. So that was kind of cool too. But also you get messed with all the time.
Constantly.
So it gets you your skin really hard. So when I got into real estate, I feel like it was like, oh, this is nothing, this
no one
can push me around here. I'm like, I've been dealing with like ex-cons and old Marine guys all the time. I'm like, there's nothing you're gonna say that's gonna really pierce my feelings a little bit. So it was kind of nice because I know that's a hard thing for real estate for people to get into the industry for. It's just kind of tough personality wise.
For sure.
So it kind of helped with that.
That's usually why people get out. They just kind of get beat up.
It's tough. It's a tough industry to be in, and it's tough dealing with people. And then especially when you start managing people, it's a whole other job.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think
Yeah.
the first level of it is in that idea of, okay, in sales period, right? When we engage in sales, you're super vulnerable because you're basically exposing yourself in some way to earn or build business or rapport something with somebody, right? I mean, there's this openness that has to happen to engage,
mhm.
and that creates vulnerability, which can be completely unsafe for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I think sales is a refining place for
It is really, you get to
for
know
us.
yourself really well.
Hey, you sure do. And you learn like,
Oh, yeah,
okay, it's
Pressure
not,
points.
that's personal. I'm not
Yeah.
going to take that personal. Yeah.
Take your feelings out of it. Have sympathy, but not too much, or have empathy, but
Yeah.
understand that sympathy can get you in trouble too. So
Yeah.
because people can play off that as well, unfortunately. But
Mhm.
empathy is a huge one. I think that's one of the biggest things in sales, personally,
Yeah.
is put yourself in their shoes to understand how to get stuff done. So
Mhm.
Absolutely.
You're good about that too, man. You
oh,
connect
yeah,
well with
I
people.
think that's the most important thing is trying to like listen to somebody and understand where they're coming from to figure out what they need. Not always trying to sell them the best and the most expensive, but getting them
Right.
exactly what they want. Sometimes they don't even know
Yeah.
until you show it to them. So it's just kind of, I think people like that too, because it's a caring
Mhm.
method versus just, oh yeah, I'll show you this really expensive house that's on top of your budget. I think a lot of people just want what they need and then a little bit of what they want also on top of that.
Right.
So, give them a little spectrum to kind of figure that out.
Yeah. We want them in a place. I think, I just look at when we do a mortgage or a home, it's just like this space of like emotional safety. And we want them feeling emotionally secure when they move into a home, right? I don't want them financially insecure by having a payment they're not comfortable with. And you probably don't want to put them in a home that's like, wow, I really didn't want this 3-story townhome when I wanted a 1-story ranch style somewhere.
They'll never pick that over ranch style houses. They'll want it. But that was a little easier. It's mostly just like year built is the biggest thing.
Okay.
Like when's it built? That's the biggest one. That's like 70s, 1999. I can deal with that. It just depends on the person in the area.
So real estate, you got so out of oil and gas, you went straight into real estate.
Yeah. So 2015, it took like a big dip, right? And so in oil and gas, I've kind of noticed that people kind of eat their own in the industry, unfortunately, because they have to, because they got to cut costs.
Mm-hmm.
And I could tell it was starting to happen, but I was also getting my real estate license while I was working for that company too. Yeah. So I was trying to make the most of my time.
Yeah.
And then one day they were making huge cuts and I just ended up just going, you know what? I'm not like happy here. Corporate life is like really constricting for me.
Yeah.
So like, I couldn't be creative or, I always had to go up the chain of command, which was great. It's fine for people to do that. I just wanted to kind of explore options a little bit more. Mm-hmm. So I had my license and I was showing houses on my lunch break for my old company. And then I started showing up late. So I started figuring out they were getting kind of pissed at that. So and I was like, I better cut and go because they're going to let me go anyway for doing this. And then ended up just literally that morning at 9 o'clock, ended up quitting there and then just going right into real estate, started doing leases and
great.
And, was talking to clients and getting my feet wet in it.
Yeah. Well, I know where you were a top producer there. So you've honed your skills really well.
Yeah.
And then I think you put some things in play with another partner to make a change. Tell us a little bit about that, man.
Yeah. So me and Skylar Schran actually opened up a brokerage after 6 years being in the business. Now I figured, there's a big hole there, and especially where the industry I think is going, which is more towards, convenience and also getting people what they want in it with a good quality product, which I don't think the industry really hasn't changed in 50 or 60 years. It's been the same.
Yeah.
Maybe even longer. So it was time for like somebody to come in there and make a change that actually made sense and not just kind of throw around a bunch of noise that was not really beneficial for the consumer. Yeah. So we opened up the Good Label to kind of give and show people there's a CarMax and Carfax method to the madness that you can actually go
CarMax,
to.
Carfax.
Yeah. Well, like as far as like the method goes, yeah, and then that was a hole that we saw that we could facilitate, and also the crypto side being another layer to add on to it. And I think that one's good. We're going to see a big boom in that in the next like 5 years. I would probably say it'll happen like overnight. It won't be just gradual. It'll be just one day you're going to start seeing NFT houses and
crazy
crypto transactions start to rise a little bit, I think.
Well, and you are an innovator. So we'll try to maybe we'll touch on the crypto side just a tad, but really I love the concept of the good label guarantee,
Mhm.
or what do we call this? What
That's
was
what it's called. That's
good
it.
label guarantee?
Yeah.
There you go. Cool. Tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about that idea.
So the good label guarantee is an idea that I had because I think and it depends also, like you have to have a good house, good product. And I think you should know, any realtor should know what they're selling. Just like you would sell anything else, because once you believe in your product, it's a lot easier to convey and a lot of build value for someone else, for you to communicate to somebody else. So the good label guarantee is three things. What we do is we make sure the home is free and clear in title. So that's one thing that people usually do after the fact. And most title companies, unless you have good relationships with them, won't really do that. So
Right.
we do have those relationships to make that happen. We also get the house and like home inspection done with the termite inspection. So we do that already up front and then actually give that to the buyer, especially for out-of-state clients. It works out really well. And then as far as the third one, I'm trying to remember right now what our third one was. This always gets me. Let me see real quick on that.
Yeah,
one.
He's
that was
pulling
the-
it up.
Yeah,
It was
let me
the
pull it up
clear-
for us real
clear
quick.
chain and title. It was the inspections up front.
Yeah, inspections up front. So clear chain inspection up front.
Yeah, and then the third one is basically I'm trying to remember what our
Well,
third one was.
I think one of the things we talked about is almost like this idea of like, this is the price, like,
Yeah.
right. It's like almost like you don't have to worry about going into haggle
Yeah.
over it. We've
not
already
really-
dealt with it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's not really any more negotiations that are gonna.
Right.
Well, that's really, I already labeled the three. That's why I couldn't remember the third. I already told you the third one. So yeah, I was trying to figure out what that was for a second. I already said it. It was the termite and home inspection.
Okay,
and then
together.
green
Okay.
title, yeah, so that was it.
Cool.
Because I was like, man, thinking
I know there's another one in here.
Like, yeah. So we just basically, the whole idea of that is the being upfront with people and being basically when they knowing what they're getting. And it basically, it's like a nutrition label for a house. You kind of know what you're buying. And I think that helps with people, especially from out of state, that are coming to a new area, new territory they don't really not familiar with, but they want to make sure that they do a really big home purchase, which is one of their most important purchases they're going to make in their entire lives,
Right.
especially when they're going to a new job, moving their families. I think it creates takes away a lot of ifs and buts about a home. And then they can kind of say, okay, based upon what I'm seeing, I'm willing to offer this price.
Yeah.
So when we get to the negotiation side, goes more like a CarMax method, because they're not going to come at us for the stuff that they already knew what was wrong. So it kind of is more of a building a value of upfrontness and honesty versus, let's hide, they feel in the original process, it's mostly like hiding,
Right.
or like, oh, if they don't
Yeah.
find it, it won't work. And I don't think that's good business overall. So we kind of wanted to kind of change that up a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, that's not change it up a little bit. That's completely rewriting the model, because today's model is, as the seller, you may know the problem of your home and you got a seller's disclosure, and some are going to maybe be honest about it and some aren't. We don't really know.
Yeah.
You would hope that they are.
Yeah.
And then the other component of that is that we agree to a price as buyer and seller, and then I'm the buyer and I go off and get an inspector and I don't reveal this inspection to you. And you just like cut that all out with this good label.
Yeah, it makes
guarantee.
the process super simple. It makes closing super fast.
Wow.
We're not waiting on title anymore. It's just really the lending side.
Yeah.
So when they open it, title's done in like maybe a week. So it's almost like a cash deal essentially on the title side. The lending side, obviously, they're going to have their own. You guys would have your own method and process of how you do that.
Yeah.
And that usually does take the longest when it comes to buying a home, which I can understand that too. It's just there's a lot of moving pieces on that. And underwriting and upfrontness on that. But I think what we were trying to really accomplish was for our clients, and I'm going to go into the agent side in a second too. So our clients, it makes it a lot less hassle and it's a lot worry-free for sellers and and it goes the same for buyers, because they're both in a position like, okay, I know exactly what's going on. I know exactly what's happening. There's a lot of these contingencies that are removed now.
Yeah.
Like no option usually is what we're getting. We're getting even title policy sometimes gets paid for, which is in this market right now, it's kind of normal.
Yeah.
And then, there's no kind of surprises that kind of pop up, and there's negotiating is very minimal at all. So it makes sellers' lives easier, it makes buyers' lives easier. I mean, we've had such great feedback from both that they're just like, this was the easiest process I've ever done. So I think from a consumer standpoint, it really benefits. And then with our agents, when they pitch this to their clients, it's something that they're kind of hesitant about at first because it is so new. They're like, basically, should we tell them what's wrong with the house? And be like, yeah, well, if your house is newer, right? Or, you can tell by the quality of the build that where you're at, you can choose, if this is a good call to make this on. But it helps with clients have a little bit of, definitely a lot of faith in their agents, and agents can have a lot more faith in the deals that they're doing.
Yeah,
And it builds value as a brokerage because we're the only ones that do that.
man.
So it's
Yeah.
kind of revolutionary in that aspect that we, want to make sure it's all across the board ease.
Yeah. I think we would, I would love to see it. Cause I mean, Stephen, what are we always asking once we go through a consultation with the client on a contract review?
Yeah.
When are your inspections?
Yeah. when
Right.
your inspection. Is there anything, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
because we need to order an appraisal and we don't want to jump the gun just yet if they don't know they're going to buy the house, but we want to order it fast and not wait too long. And
Yeah.
that's kind of,
Yeah, that's
you
a
know,
good point.
it just takes,
Makes you guys close quicker.
oh my God, it helps us. I mean, think about
They already know.
with clear title already
Yeah.
open. We don't have to worry about ordering appraisal or when, we just order it because you can, we got the contract, cool, disclose, order the appraisal. I mean, you can get it on a rush and you can close like a cash deal in 10 days, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely. And you're right. It does across the board, even for you guys, it does make it a lot easier because you can get the ball rolling with no option. And like, it's
Yeah.
a lot easier to kind of put orders in for things. And
Absolutely.
that was the idea going into it. Like the first client I ever did this for, he was very against it because he was like, I don't want to put my foot in my mouth. And,
Right.
we were already charging a premium for this house because it's a seller's market in a great area. Only one of the price points. So I kind of knew strategy wise, one, I knew what I was selling. And then two, I knew the market that I was in. So I felt like it would be played really well in the scenario that it was in. So it was, and then he had a little faith in me, and luckily he did because he ended up getting every bit of that premium for it and some. So
So great.
it was, he was surprised. So he took me out to a ball game. He's a buddy of mine. He's a friend of mine too. But
That's
yeah,
good.
he took
I'll
me out
take
to a ball
that.
game, and and it was like, hey, telling everybody about the good label guarantee, and it was cool. Like we just got to talk a lot about it.
Yeah.
And see his feedback on it, which is really cool.
I liked your comparison because I know we're talking about the good label. I think a good way that you explained it to us the other day was like a product has a nutrition label, kind of like how you know how many grams of this or that, and you can kind of see it, you know what you're going to get, and it's similar in that aspect, right?
Yeah. So like the branding, and I was going to touch on that too, is like the reason why we call it the good label is because it is like a nutrition label. We want a client to know what they're getting in their agents as well as what they're getting in their marketing. And it's very upfront, very honest, and the quality and the values there. And I think that's the biggest thing that we wanted to pitch with the branding, which goes really well with our marketing, which when our agents come on and try to pitch to their clients, they have a good culture and a good idea of what it is that they're doing and selling. And the client most of all knows that they're getting a really good value and they know what they're getting. Because in real estate, unfortunately, you just kind of pick up the phone and call a realtor. You're just it's a kind of a fish in a bucket kind of scenario. And it's not really, I don't think, beneficial always for the industry because people might have a bad experience and then blame the entire industry for that.
Right.
Versus what we're doing is taking that out. So we just want to make sure that people know what they're getting. And, and then the nutrition labels are perfect for that because it's on all of our food. Why isn't it the same way to our industry and for our homes? So it's and it's way more expensive. So
well, it's super innovative. And I think when you're saying that, like, I think for an agent or I think any of us, the question that many times is the hardest to answer is, well, why me?
Yeah.
Right. And it took a while for me to grapple with that. Well, why me? I don't know. Let me think about why me. And I know why me. And if somebody asks, I can answer.
Yep.
I know it. Right. However, a new salesperson stepping into this role may not understand what the why me is. And all of a sudden you're able to give them this, well, let me tell you why me or why good label. Right. And this is it. Right.
Yep.
Here's what we bring to the transaction for you. We bring certainty of closing, and because we eliminate title issues, we eliminate the inspection process. Basically, we're basically saying, here's the Carfax or the house facts. Let's negotiate it and move on.
Yeah. It's like we all have in a house process, everybody wants to come to an agreement. They all want one thing. One person needs a house, another person wants to sell it. So there's no reason to complicate it any more than it has to be.
Yeah.
And I think that just kind of solves that. It makes it a lot simpler with just taking care of a lot of things up front versus on the back end, which I still in the industry don't understand. I understand why, especially for investment properties, I can understand with repair costs and things like that. But I do think when a house is really good selling condition, there's no reason to treat it like that when it really isn't. Just each house has its own situation. So I think it should be treated as such. So that's kind of where I came up with the idea of doing that. And it was risky to say the least. It was because, I didn't know if it was really going to work or if how the consumer would take it, but it was in my head, I was like, I think this is really a good, honest business move to do in the industry. And so, you know, good always wins, I guess, in this case. So
Yeah.
that's how,
Yeah.
that's how it went. And it went really, really well, like
Yeah.
exceedingly well. And it was,
Great.
it surprised me, but not really at the same time. But I think it surprised my client more.
Right.
Because you know, in California, before you list a house, you have to get it inspected within, I think, 3 years. I think there's their requirement there.
Okay.
So it's
Got
like, in other states, it is a requirement to do it, but I think that time lapse is a little early because they're still
Mhm.
going to go in. We still advocate for buyers to hire inspectors when they, you know, if they went to, we don't push them
Right.
against that. We want them to be completely, you know, we want to be honest, and then we can kind of check, they can check our work. But, you know, if they feel like it's a good inspection report, they feel like the house is in good condition, if one, they really want it, they'll go for it because
Yeah.
they trust the product. And also the brand
Yeah.
kind of goes with that.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think you're gonna attract like the right client, and you're also gonna attract the right realtors that are gonna be joining you guys. I know that you talked about like not wanting it just to be huge. You kind of want more of a SEAL team. You said SEAL Team 6,
yeah,
right?
we want a SEAL Team 6. We want,
Yeah.
we want straight killers, like not the way that's bad, but more the way that's like, we want people really, you know, in the industry that really care about it, that, you know, understand what they're doing. They're
Uh-huh.
like, they're passionate about what they're doing. And I think that goes really well with company culture, you know, and I think that's what we're building. We're not just kind of hiring and firing, and we're not trying to do all that. We want
Yeah.
to hire right. And that's kind of, we kind of, you know, if we're pitching to our clients about knowing what they're getting, a good value, we want to make sure it starts with the company culture and the company process first. And then that,
Yeah.
like, that extension goes into the clients.
Sure
Yeah.
does. Right.
So all of the agents and the brokers are using this kind of, they're using the good label.
Yeah, we're definitely
too.
like pushing this more, but not for every house, because it is situational for what it is. You know,
Uh-huh.
sometimes it'll benefit clients, and other times, you know, it's really up to the client what they want to do always. It's not
Right.
about what the agents push, right? So we want them to feel comfortable understanding the process and the idea of what they're doing. And so
Mhm.
it's really up to the
Yeah.
client, but we, of course, you know, ask our agents, you know, hey, use every bit of value that you can bring to the table, especially when you have like 32,000 agents in the city, and
Gosh.
they can call anyone they want. You got to separate yourself, and you do that by, one, being, you know, available, great communication, and two, like, what's your value that you're bringing as far as company. And a lot of companies out there, you know, we're trying to figure out, you know, what they were,
Yeah.
what their company culture was, or what they're all about. And a lot of them kind of the same, kind of a shoebox kind of thing, where you kind of can replicate one in one. So I wanted to definitely start a new company that was, and me and my business partner Skylar, we wanted to start something that was very unique and filled a hole in our niche in the industry that wasn't there. And I think I wouldn't have never even done this unless I could add a tremendous amount of value to something that needed, I think, a little bit of a facelift. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where I kind of have the passion to do this, because I think it's going to be really beneficial for people. I think just trying something new. What do you have to lose? You know?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I mean, I think it comes from the fact that you were flipping cars in high school, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that you're very entrepreneurial. You're clearly innovative, Chase. I mean, I commend you, man. You've got that entrepreneurial drive that has you looking to the marketplace to say,
Yeah.
and I think we can do something different. And not only that, I think we can do something better.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, which this industry is kind of old. I mean, it's really,
it's
it's just,
facelift.
this is the way we've always done
It's
it.
time to get
Yeah.
creative,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Yeah, it's just cool. It feels good too, because it's kind of seeing your ideas work, and I think that's even better, because you know you're stepping in the right direction. I think that's what's cool about it too. You know, trial and error is great, but trial and success is even better. So,
Yeah.
so, you know, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of both in this industry. So I just try to always take the good with the bad. But right now we've had a good run with the ideas that we're doing, and so it's been
Awesome.
working out really well.
Cool.
It's great.
So we're gonna put links to, you know, your account. You guys got a like Instagram page or Facebook?
Yeah, we
things
do.
like
Yeah,
that?
the good label _RE is our
Got
Instagram
it.
page.
Got
And
it.
then my personal one is at Bayou City Realtor. So
Right.
you guys want to check that out?
Yeah, we'll link everything.
Really,
Chase,
it's
thanks for
Instagrammable.
sharing everything, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I really I like the things you're talking about. I'm encouraged to, you know, get more creative, you know, with looking, you know, where are those, because we bring realtors on the podcast, but honestly, we're bringing like entrepreneurs on the podcast.
Yeah, we are.
And sharing ideas that you can take into really any industry. So
Mhm.
look for that creative kind of niche, and yeah, just to apply it. I mean, that's a really
Yeah,
cool
and
thing.
I think the industry starts with the agents a lot, because not with that the lender is the most important because they get it done. You guys are the most important process. There's no doubt about that. You guys supply the oxygen. I always tell people it's like you guys are the doctors and I'm kind of the pharmacist. Like I prescribe houses for them based upon what you guys pre-proven for.
Right.
Right. So without you guys, I can't really strategize a good formula. So it really does go hand in hand. And I think it goes to as far as market movements and making process easier. I think it does start with agents though, because it starts with the client and then the listing or the buyer.
Yeah.
So I really, it needs to have a little bit of growth there for everybody else to kind of follow through. And we're all a big team here. There's enough work for everybody out here in the industry. There's not something that's, people gotta undercut or do anything crazy.
Not at all.
I think if anything, I mean, it just adds a lot of value to something. And I wish people would do this more. It's just something that it would benefit a lot of people for.
Well, I
absolutely.
I think you're right. When the innovation starts in your arena, it allows us to function in our arena way more efficiently.
Yeah.
So if you're taking care of the front end stuff that we don't have to wait on, then we're able to turn into our 10-day close processes. And we can speed the process up along with you, but it's because your innovation allows us to bring our innovation instead of like, oh, wait, like we can be innovative to try to close quicker with the things and tools that we have. But man, at the front end of the transaction and set up right, we start off already a little bit behind,
If we have a good handoff, we're running.
We're gone. Yeah, exactly.
I think that helps with a good handoff.
Yeah, I think that's just part of communication too, and working with really good people.
Yeah.
Because my clients trust me to put them in touch with really great people to work with. And luckily for you guys, like we're all passionate about what we do, love what we do. And I think that extends out to the value of our clients. And so knowing good people to do that with is really great.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome to work with. And you supply a lot of loan packages also that some other people don't, which is again, an innovative source. And I know lending is always kind of doing that. So it's really cool. And I appreciate you guys for being on top.
Absolutely.
Do we want to touch a little bit on the crypto side of this thing? Because I mean that it's
I'm sure you have a lot of information
you got
on your page as well. I think
I mean, I can touch base just a couple points on it. And you guys can see, because I think that's a lot of people are like, it goes over their head, but to the point where it is kind of cool where it's going. If you guys want me to touch on it, I can.
If you can give because without the high level detail, maybe the 3 or 4 salient points to
reach out.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we do as far as adding another layer to the industry, which is our innovative part also on top of that, is we help people do crypto transactions. So if they have Bitcoin or Ethereum that they need to put because they caught that rising boom, usually what happens is they have to sell it and take the huge tax hit. So what we do is we try to actually put people together that want Bitcoin to Bitcoin, or they want cash. We teach them how to transfer to exchange that into cash. So and also that helps for you guys doing home loans because they have to have that cash in their account from their crypto. And we just kind of show people how to do that and also facilitate clients that want that, and also show them houses that will accept it. And then the other layer to that is also the NFTing for homes, which NFTing is great because it makes the transaction.
Hang on, what is NFTing? Let's say.
Non-fungible token.
There we go. Okay, cool. That's a good thing we want to bring up.
Yeah, the non-fungible token part is different than what you're used to seeing on the internet, which is like, a picture of a green panda selling for $200,000, or in this case, I think it's a Bored Ape Club kind of thing. To NFT a home is a very high-end thing to do. It's great for commercial, it's great for historical buildings, but you literally can non-fungible token every single home because every single home has its own unique issues or uniqueness in its own way. So we help people do that as well. And then that way they can actually, you can make royalties on every time the house is sold because that NFT is stuck with that home. So for builders, it's really great.
Wow.
They can keep making money on the products they build because, I mean, it's kind of a work of art. It's their baby that they've dealt with for 9 months, and then they just got to let it go. With our structure, we make it so they get royalties on every time it sells. So that's one of the reasons why you NFT something. Among the transaction time cuts it from 30 days to 3 minutes off your cell phone. And
off your cell phone.
There's a whole nother conversation of what that is.
Chase,
but it makes transaction time drop considerably. So about 3 minutes to close on a house. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that definitely beats it.
So if you're into crypto, like Bitcoin, anything along those lines, trying to figure out how to translate that into real estate. I mean, we've had buyers that done really well in the crypto market, and next thing you know, they've got cash in the bank account and they're buying a home with it. And we've seen it, so we know it's out there, it's happening. But be able to take that money in a way that you're not taxed on it and you just transfer it from one investment to the next. It's almost like a 1031 exchange, quite on as I
It's
think
kind of like
about
a
it
cash
without
deal,
the,
essentially too. It's
Yeah.
the same with the other side. So you're not
Yeah.
wrong on that. It's just, it's a lot easier. The process is literally, you can buy anything within maybe 20 minutes once you hook your MetaMask wallet up to it and just go to town. I mean, you can buy anything within a couple minutes, and anything, doesn't matter the price is good. So the technology, the blockchain technology that's behind it is really revolutionary. It's not really the currency that's really the market shaker here. That's just a vessel to get a transaction done. It's really the technology behind it. And it
gosh,
takes title issues completely out. It's you can't fraudulently, defraud a blockchain. It's fraudulent proof.
yeah,
So it saves the consumer a lot of money.
Wow.
yeah. It's still, we had coffee last week and Jason's explaining all this to us, and
I don't want to go.
I was
right
like,
over
I'm like,
but there's so much coolness.
so
that
much.
comes out of it. It's
Right.
really cool. It's just getting people to educated and understand that it's there. It's aware. It's out there, guys. You can totally.
Well, and
do
it's
it.
coming. I mean,
Yeah.
at some level, we're going to be dealing with this. I mean, we are dealing with it.
Yeah.
We're seeing it. It's going to become more and more part of our day-to-day life in one way or form or fashion. So, yeah, I think
Wow.
you're one of the few that I've even heard mention that happening around real estate. So,
Yeah.
again, innovation,
Sweet.
man. High schoolers sound like flipping
do
cars,
it.
man.
Yeah.
It's just like,
car flipper going into real estate business now and full of gas. Yeah, it's been a ride. Figured out what I did like a lot quicker, which made me figure out what I did like. So
Love it.
yeah.
Oh man. Well, thanks again for coming on.
yeah, Chase, this is really good, man.
Yeah, it was really
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
You guys,
I
if
appreciate
you like what you hear,
Yeah.
feel free to comment below.
Share, reach out, right?
Yeah, we want to share stories of really successful agents, entrepreneurs.
Yeah,
in
other people in this,
Houston.
yeah,
You
just
know,
in
we-
any industry, quite honestly. It's just like all of a sudden, let's just talk.
Let's
Let's
just do it.
let's
Yeah.
share ideas, because what you do in real estate or what we do in mortgages, really, it's kind of the same, right? In regards to just the idea of like being innovative and connecting with people and
Good
Yeah.
relationships, make
Yeah.
those happen. Yeah,
right. And
absolutely.
that applies across any industry. So yeah,
Absolutely.
if you want to be a guest on the show, reach out to us. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Cool.
See y'all
See y'all in the
later.
next time.
Thanks.